Welcome back to another episode of the Coaster101 mini-cast live at IAAPA, or semi-live at IAAPA. We're going to call it that. I'm joined this time by Phil Wilson, who is an Executive Vice President of Extreme Engineering. Phil, how's it going?
It's going great. Hey, thanks for having me today on your podcast. Appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you before our trade show after almost 2 years in person. So excited to get back out there in Orlando.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of touched on it. And, we are recording this in advance of IAAPA. But what's it going to be like for you to kind of get back down to Orlando and be back at the Orange County Convention Center live on the expo floor?
Oh, no pun intended, it is going to be a roller coaster of emotions for sure. It's funny. I've been talking to some of our other supplier friends, and as much as we're all seasoned veterans and doing shows around the globe, we're a little rusty to get back at this. It's been kind of a long break, almost 2 years, to have the mothership trade show in Orlando. And I think it's going to be we're going to be trying to get out of our comfort zone of getting back to what we call normal. And I think we're there, very, very close to there, but it is all going to be almost like we're doing it for the first time again. And seeing people we haven't seen for so long, it's almost like you're reintroducing yourself to these people. So I think there's going to be a little bit of that. I think there's going to be a little rustiness on setup, and I think there's going to be a little bit of uncomfortableness as we get through the week. But I think more than that, it's going to be very, very rewarding, exciting, and I think a lot of people are very emotional about this. They really want to just get back, and we're not just in the amusement industry. We're in the people business, and so being close to our colleagues in person is so critical in what we do. So I think that's going to be probably the biggest thing we're going to take away from this is getting back to being together.
Yeah, that the new normal, I feel like, is the phrase that's tossed around a lot. So it's good that the expo is happening again. Obviously, it didn't happen in 2020 due to COVID, but when we last spoke to you guys back in 2019, you had announced 2 new cloud coasters that were scheduled to come in 2020. Obviously, the year being what it was, one of those was pushed to 2021. But Extreme Engineering opened Eagle Wonders in Vietnam in 2020, and also Fly with Flap in 2021, and which is in Qatar. How has reception been for those 2 cloud coasters for you guys?
On those projects specifically, we were thankful to have, Vietnam, for example, that was installed pretty much before, Vietnam had a lot of restrictions and shutdowns. So we had the timing was perfect there. We got that in right before the pandemic hit, and the park was able to open, and they've had a really great result with that family attraction. So I feel that was the timing was just right, and the ride was well received. However, I know that Zamperla land did shut down for a while due to COVID. I don't know if that park is currently fully operational. But it did do well when it was opened, and in my knowledge is it is either opening soon or it may be open again. So I apologize, I don't have that current status on that park. But on the Doha, that park has been beautifully received. The theming in there is off the charts. And we were just so fortunate to work with our partners at NASL, who was the master planner of that park, and they put us into a phenomenal location above the ceiling, and you get this really amazing bird's eye view, thus the name Fly with Flap, of all the attractions below. You go actually around Planet Hollywood. They have that restaurant right there, and you go around that restaurant and another ride. I think US Thrill Rides built the ride, but you go around that ride as well. And it's a very unique experience. And it's ironic that 2 of our coasters, one in Vietnam, one in Doha, both were branded around a bird IP. And it makes sense. You're soaring up high. You're gliding like a bird. And so they did a really great job using IP to really brand this ride and make it a little more immersive. And so, no, that ride's been really, really well received. Wish I could get down there. It's a long flight, but
Right.
wish we could get down there and ride it, because that one is 600 linear feet of track, and it's a phenomenal layout. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
And those two coasters, obviously, they join, and I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation because
sure,
there's accent marks and I don't speak French, but Telegraph at Megapark in Quebec.
yeah,
So those are the three cloud coasters you guys have built that are operating or close to operating in the case of the Vietnam Park.
yep.
But what can you tell us about the future of the cloud coaster? Are there more cloud coasters planned as you guys are at IAAPA? Are you do you get to tell us where the next cloud coasters are going? Can you narrow it down to a country or a state or a
Yeah,
park? Or what can you tell us?
yeah, I can tell you, the beauty of NDAs is protects the clients. The negative of NDAs is it doesn't help us marketers. But what I can tell you is that there's two new projects. They did get delayed because of COVID, that are anticipated for 2022 to open in North America. One I can say as far as one is the East Coast, is where I can go as far as that.
Okay.
What we are unveiling on the floor is the brand new, what we call the Cloud Coaster Storm. That's our
Right.
all new side by side ride vehicle. We have developed a new roller coaster track called Poseidon, is the name of the track that we use in our technology. This new track is a phenomenal design, where we can actually build track cost effectively. We can get sharper bends in the track to create the radius is more tight, making the track modular so we can get a ride in a very smaller footprint. And we can also take tighter turns or corners, giving you more thrill on the ride. The way we've designed this as well, the speeds have now phenomenally increased with our side by side, allowing us to get up in the 20 plus mile an hour range. We also have designed the overall attraction to achieve higher capacities, to really speak to parks that need the 400 plus people per hour. So we're really excited about the Cloud Coaster Storm. It really fits a lot of those qualifiers that larger parks are looking for. But the beauty of it is we were able to apply a lot of what we learned from our original Cloud Coaster in terms of the design and the cost savings. So applying that to the Storm, we still have a very cost effective family coaster that's going to be able to give you higher speeds and decent capacity. And you can get a coaster within all the bells and whistles of the Storm. I'm speaking to within that $2 million price point. And
That's
it's
awesome.
actually hard to get to that number, by the way. That I'm talking a big track, so it's really awesome. So now we're really being able to cater to a sensitive budget that, I mean, let's be frank, that a lot of parks are going to have, right? Because they're still, I know their per cap spending's through the roof, and that's great, and they're making a lot of money and catching up. But right now the big purchases on rides, they're not going to be that, unless I guess you're Universal with Epic or something. You're not going to be in that, you know, 5, 10, $20 million ride right now. They're
Right.
still trying to recover. So I feel like we have a really good solution to that, with a wide range of different rides at price points that really are affordable. And, just because they're cost effective doesn't mean you're not going to get the thrills. So we got a lot of thrill in new rides. So,
Absolutely.
the other designs we came up with, and I can't take credit, this is for some of our sales team members and our designers. We came up with a thing called SkyTag. And basically, we're offering laser tag in the sky. You sit in a side by side ride vehicle, and you have laser or phasers in your hands, and there's targets all over your ride vehicle, all over the track, including all over the floor. If you want theming, we can partner with a theming company, and you basically are shooting at targets for speed, not for speed, for scores. And it's more interactive. So it's really an interactive coaster. It's not a dark ride.
Mhm.
It's an interactive coaster, but we can work with people like the Sally Corps, or Largotronics or all the other companies out there that may offer a dark ride solution. And we provide this ride vehicle system where it can be configured, adapt, interactive. And so we're really excited about that. And where we're going after with this particular product is into the FEC sector, where we can take up a lot of their height in their building, not take up the floor space. And we can fit these in as small as a 40 by 40 footprint, which
Oh,
is
wow.
really small for a coaster.
Hmm.
And you actually would ride it twice, and there'd be a lot of interactive, screens, sensors, motion sensors, special effects. And we can offer this all turnkey at a low cost price, partnering with some other suppliers that specialize in the laser tags and the theming. And so, yeah, that we're really excited about. We actually have a project really, really close to close in Saudi. I can't go far into what it is, but really, really close with a client. And then our last really exciting project, our coaster design is what you brought up was the Surfin Tsunami. It is the world's first stand-up surfboard roller coaster. Now, there's things out there like that are on zipline cables. This is truly a roller coaster on a track. We've designed the speed to actually simulate what you would expect on surfing on a longboard, which is
Wow.
about 8 miles an hour, ironically. Now, that might sound slow, but when you're 60 feet up in the air and you're on a board, it's pretty fast and thrilling.
Hmm.
And you basically bank the track like you're riding a wave. So you're actually, the board turns left to right as if you're coming down and cutting through a wave. And it's just a really cool product. We have a really new breakthrough design on the restraint where it kind of cradles your back and around your thighs, and it's fully adjustable. So a small child, 45-pound child, fully adapts to them, to a big, heavy adult, like myself,
Me
pushing
too.
200 pounds. Yeah. So, so that is a really fun attraction. And that is one that was supposed to unfortunately open last year. Or excuse me, this year, and it is getting delayed, but it is on target, hopefully for next year.
Love it.
Yeah,
And then I do want to talk a little bit about the kind of the cloud coaster and the tag coaster, or the SkyTag
sure.
rather. Was there just guest feedback from previous cloud coasters that, guests wanted to ride with somebody else as opposed to, I know you guys have kind of moved more to these 2-seat designs as opposed to the traditional 1-seat cloud coaster. Did
Sure.
that come from guest and park feedback, or was that a capacity thing? How was it decided to go with 2 seats as opposed to one?
Yeah, the two seaters is definitely not intended to replace the single seater. It's an
Hmm.
addition to. And I'm glad you brought that up about what the feedback. The best improvements we ever get are from our customers, and there's still a huge placeholder for a single seater because that type of experience is very uniquely different than obviously a side by side where you ride with your family or friends. And it did drive down to capacity. People really said, we love the single seater, but how do we get more throughput? So obviously, a side by side is one easy way to do that, and the other is speed. And so that's where we came up with the Storm solution. And we were able to come up with a side by side, like I said, in a cost effective design where we can still provide a very turnkey, affordable, high capacity ride. But the experience that you're going to get on a Storm is going to be very different than like you're going to see at the three that you mentioned, Doha, Vim Pearl, Mega Park in Canada. Those are a very different design, right? They're almost like a glider, right?
Right.
And you want to experience that almost by yourself. And the reason why you do that by yourself is you get almost you get over 180-degree view all by yourself up in high in the sky, and you got to really get to feel that experience for yourself.
Hmm.
And the feedback we got on that has been really phenomenal. That people like feeling like they're gliding all alone up there weightlessly. And then with the side by side, people are like, look, I want to go fast. I want to experience it with my friends. And hey, I got to get capacity up. I want my THRC to be, in that 300, 400 an hour. And so that's where we came up with this to meet that demand. So definitely it's not the replacement, it's just the addition too.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then it's a non-coaster product, and I know we are a roller coaster podcast.
Sure.
But I do want to talk about the fourth attraction you guys are debuting on the show floor, which is this concept that you have named Parkour Around. And with kind of reading the release on it, you mentioned like a video game character, but when my first thought looking at this was like going back, the 90s kid in me was like, this is like Global Guts. And this is kind of
I love that game. Yeah, I mean, same. I mean, I'm probably a little older than you. It makes me go back to the late '80s when I'm playing Super Mario Brothers. You know, that's exactly it. We actually had this product in development for about 15 plus years. We put it on hold because we felt the market wasn't quite ready for it. And we went focusing on our coaster division. Through COVID, a lot of the things that we were able to take advantage of is time, and look at the things that we really didn't have time to invest in and R&D and further develop. And we were able to get that magic moment of time and use that to our advantage. So now we're excited to finally debut, which is well overdue, this new Parkour Around product. And what we've developed, and we just filed a patent on it too. So we've got a patent pending on the technology. Is that this, in a sense, it's a assist system that's on a pendulum in the center of these obstacles, where it auto calculates based off your weight. It takes a percentage of that weight off of you so that you can literally achieve what you could do in a video game. So that's imagine awesome. Being Super Mario Brothers and jumping, great heights or lengths that you can't normally humanly do. And that's what we're getting the participants to achieve, where someone who may not be physically fit or able, now it doesn't matter. There's no barrier. You can all go on this and experience the same thing, and you can jump 15 feet from one obstacle to the next. You're flying like a superhero. This is legitimately what we're designing. And it is definitely the most, in my opinion, the most exciting adventure ride we've come up with in a very long time. Unfortunately, we won't have the actual real working thing on the floor this year, but we're going to have a lot of content on it. And we are happy to say we've already taken our first order on it for a project in North America. And we're literally taking orders as we speak. So this product is my opinion, one of the biggest breakthroughs in the adventure sector that we've come up with in a long time. And we're super excited. And the best way I can explain it is it's you're in a video game. You get to be playing your favorite adventure game, and you're the adventure. And awesome. you could be Ezio from Assassin's Creed. You could be Luigi or Mario from Super Mario Brothers. I mean, it's really cool.
That is fantastic. And I'm just like, my inner child in me, you talk about the physically able to do things and jump really far and things like that. I'm all in on this. I can't wait for this to open wherever it is in North America.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline. You can tell me what it is later.
Yeah, we'll go. You and me, we'll go try it. And then awesome. the beauty about it too, it's circular, which it helps us on footprint, so we can put them in modules, and we actually have an interactive time on it. So there's a time element with it. So you're competing, and we've also looked into developing a system where you could play and sync these anywhere in the world. So wherever they are located, the scores will show up on players across the globe. So we're looking at that right now too, which would be really fun. So putting that extra gaming element into it.
I love it. When you can gamification or gamify anything, really, I'm the type of person, I love the dark ride shooters at any park, because I love to compete, and I love that competitive aspect, even if it's like the sitting next to the person, sitting next to the person you're competing against, or you're in an entire theater or ride vehicle like Midway Mania. I always say Midway Mayhem, but Midway Mania at Disney, when you're competing against everybody in the ride for an hour or whatever. So this is very cool. Before we wrap this up, is there anything else coming down the pipeline from Extreme Engineering and the adventure parks or adventure ride sector, or anything else you want our listeners to know about Extreme Engineering and your plans for IAAPA?
Well, we're going to have some really big news across the board on the things we're doing on the show floor. So those who are coming, we really encourage them to come Tuesday to the press conference. I believe it's at 4:50 p.m. And it's a little bit different this year. Unfortunately, we can't do it at the booth, but we will have a lot to celebrate and a lot to showcase on developments, locations, other futures we're working on. I would leave it with this. The last thing I think that's been equally exciting for us is a big portion of our business is fabrication. So we are a support mechanism to other coaster manufacturers and other master themers. And we've been pulled into some phenomenal projects I can't disclose, but a lot of theme parks, a lot of renovation, a lot of replacement, a lot of addition added. So, our indication from our experience doing the fabrication side of things, work is starting to pick up. RFQs are coming in. People are looking to invest in refurbishment. Those are all really good indicators to recovery. And so, those things make us very optimistic about where we're headed. And I do believe that the recovery is going to be here a lot quicker than we think, just because of what the demand we're seeing in the fabrication side. So, and with the fabrication, we get to really design some unique things that normally don't happen. So parks are investing in technology, in IP, and safety as always. And so there's going to be some really cool breakthrough things I think you guys are going to see in the next year.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Phil, thank you so much for your time. If you're listening to this podcast at IAAPA, Extreme Engineering is booth number 4800, so be sure to go check them out. As Phil mentioned, if you're press and you're listening to this, go to their press conference, or the press conference will probably already happened. Again, we're recording this in advance. We don't know exactly what's going on. Be sure to check out their website, extremeengineering.com. Phil, are you guys active on social media?
We are. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. So just search Extreme Engineering on any of those platforms and you'll be able to find them. Just like you'll be able to search Coaster101 on any social media, you'll be able to find that. And be sure to check out the latest and greatest from IAAPA at Coaster101.com. That's going to do it for this mini episode of the Coaster 101 podcast highlighting IAAPA. Phil, thanks again for your time and enjoy the expo floor in a couple of weeks.
It's my pleasure. Looking forward to the show and appreciate everything.